we want to take you through some of the updates. We want to show you where we're going with this technology and what we were able to accomplish together. Again, my name is Michael. Super excited to be here with everyone today. I am doing this with some of my partners and friends here. My brother and co-founder Pete is on the call. We've got Margot and Austin, and she's not credited, but we got Shannon here as well. I can actually see questions. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Zoom, we are coming at you in 3 live places right now. We can get your questions and we can answer them. So tell us where you're from, tell us where you are right now, and tell us a little bit about yourselves. Are you doing agency work? Do you do work for movies? Do you do fiction, nonfiction, churches, education? We want to know because we're really excited to meet you and get to know you and answer your questions. Now, most important thing, Strata Agents is out and it's free and you can sign up right now. If you're on this call and you have not installed an agent, the only requirement is that you have an Apple Silicon computer. That just means you need a computer that was made within the last 5 years by Apple. Those are M1s, M2s, M3s, M4s, and we think pretty soon we're going to see an M5. These are the requirements. Now, someday we're going to have Windows. We're not ignoring Windows or Linux. Those are priorities, but we had to start small. What we're doing is so different. And it's so advanced, we need to just make sure we get it right. And so we're starting with Apple and Apple Silicon to help us get this right. But you could go to strata.tech right now, and you can sign up for Strata, and you can install an agent, and you can start collaborating without the cloud. See, the photo here, the picture here is really important. We have been taught that you have to have a cloud in order to collaborate, right? Like, that's what we believe. That's just how the whole thing has worked. But what we were learning as creators ourselves is that the cloud costs were just so expensive that we couldn't even afford them. Our Lucid Link, we use Lucid Link, we use Frame.io, we use Dropbox. All of these expenses kept going up. Why? Because we kept shooting more material, and our internet didn't get any faster, and our cloud storage didn't get any cheaper. And we just kept adding more and more users and more terabytes. And you, the users, the beta users of Strata were telling us, I like Strata, but I really want to access files on hard drives. And what you're seeing in this picture here is exactly that. Strata now connects to your actual hard drive. It can be a RAID, a NAS, a SAN, or even a soft-mounted cloud like Lucid Link or Dropbox. And you can share those directly without having to upload anything. It's really, really different. And so this is a really, really powerful way to work. Now, Chris asks on Zoom, what hard drive should I buy? I own an agency. Chris, if you own an agency and you're looking to do something like this, there's a couple ways to go. One way is to look at a NAS, and a great NAS that people buy is Jellyfish. These are great NASs. They're cool. They're relatively inexpensive. They're very powerful, and you can get them medium, big, and small. So there's a lot of versatility with Jellyfish. But if you want to have one RAID that is a great host that's not a NAS, just a RAID, I like OWC. They make RAIDs called Thunder Bay, and they can make them small, medium, and large as well. Those are 2 options. Another option that I hear a lot of people love is Synology. Starts with an S, Synology. And that's another great solution. And so those are 3 great options that I know people love and they use, and they're really good. All of those, by the way, are compatible with Strata agents. You could connect the Jellyfish, a Synology, or an OWC Thunder Bay into Strata agents and share those volumes out as if they're clouds. That's exactly what Strata agents is supposed to do, is take your drive and make it a cloud so you don't have to upload every time you want to share something. Paul from Instagram says, I can't wait for sharing and downloading. What's the timeline on those features? I hate to make you wait, Paul, but I'm going to get to that slide later. So you're just going to have to stick on. We're going to go over downloading and features and the timeline for that. El Corrado from IG says, I'm on set right now shooting a commercial. Hey, that's really great. You're shooting a commercial. Did you try an agent? If you're on set with a commercial, there's got to be a laptop. If that laptop's a Mac, install an agent. And then you can connect the camera card to that laptop and you can literally watch files off the camera card on your set to somewhere else. Like that's exactly what we're building. In fact, I had an email come in yesterday from a client and they want to put agents on the DIT's cart. And if they put the agent on the DIT's cart, then the editors could actually pull the files off the DIT's cart, or the DIT could push the files to the editors right from the cart. Think about that. No cloud, no uploading, just pushing it right to the editor. That's really new. That's really cool. Okay. Now, I told you that we do these every Tuesday. So if you like this event, if this helps, if you learn something here, then tell your friends. Tell them to show up next Tuesday because we'll be here doing it again. And we'll always add new things and we'll show new stuff. So that's really important. Noreen from YouTube says, when will agents be available for Windows and Linux? Noreen, thanks for asking that question. You know, we are going to do that in 2025. So that will be this year. I just don't know what part of 2025. It will not come before July. It will not come before July. But will we have it August, September, October, November? That is something that we really want to be able to do. Stay tuned. I appreciate you being patient on this. Now, I want to make sure you understand you can access the results of a Strata agent, meaning Strata works in Chrome. So you can watch files that are connected to an agent on Windows. You can do that today. But the actual agent, the drive connection, has to be on an Apple Silicon today. That will change, but that's where you have to start with today. Oh, Cash. Hey, Cash. Good to see you, Cash. Thanks for reaching out. I know I owe you a meeting. Cash says, is there any limitations to how many drives you can access? That's a great question, Cash. I don't think we've been asked that. I don't think so. I don't think so. David's in the next room who's building this. I don't think there's a limitation to how many drives you can connect. I think I've seen like 15 drives connected. And so, but I don't know what the theoretical limit is. I know that if you use Thunderbolt drives, there's a limit of how many Thunderbolt drives you can daisy chain together. And that limit's pretty high, but there is a theoretical limit. But I don't think you're going to have any problems with connecting 15 drives. Now, remember, Cash, you can also have 15 people connect 15 drives, right? Because every person can be their own agent. So the amount of sharing that can be possible through this is actually really huge. And there shouldn't be any problems with that. So pretty exciting right there. Okay. Now I mentioned we do this every Tuesday, but we didn't do it the last couple of weeks. I got sick last week. Why did I get sick? Because the week before I was at NAB shaking 500 hands. And this is a snapshot of our team in our booth at NAB. We had so many conversations. There's my brother Pete conversing with some people. Thank you so much for people that came to the booth. We actually had lines for 4 days standing to talk to us at our booth. It was awesome. And I think the coolest thing is, while it's nice to have high, a lot of booth traffic, I actually think deep conversations are even more important. And so there were people in our booths that stayed for like 30 minutes. And so thank you for doing that. We also did lots of panels. This is one panel where we talked about the cloud, and we were talking about I called it the dark side of the cloud. Actually, NAB wouldn't let me title it that. So I had to title it something else that they came up with. But as soon as I posted it on YouTube, I put it back to the dark side of the cloud, because I think that's more provocative. And I think it's actually more realistic to what people are feeling. There are dark sides to the cloud. Clouds aren't all bad, but there are some problems and we're trying to fix them. So this is one of the panels. And then we did a lot of demos. This was a demo I did with CFA. You can see cinematography for actors in the background there. And they let us do a few demos in their booth. I mean, the amount of demos we did was insane. It was hundreds and hundreds of demos. And it was just really exciting to have them all. Now, you can see some of these videos if you go to the Strata Tech YouTube channel. Some of you are watching this live right now on YouTube, but there are other videos there. There's panels, there's demonstrations, there's tutorials. There's a lot of material there. And as a sneak preview, I'm actually doing an NAB recap, which is our next episode, which we'll put on our YouTube. So if you like watching our YouTube build in public story, you should watch that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we have been chronicling the start of Strata from day one. The day I quit my job at Adobe, I recorded a video and said, we're going to start a business and we don't know what it is. And then we've been chronicling how to start a business for the last 22 months. And you can actually watch how we got here. And there's lots of mistakes made along the way. There's people that come and go, and there's things we learned and changed. And we just love telling the story. So people that want to be entrepreneurs or like following how businesses are built, there's a lot of fun stuff in there. There's also a lot of great filmmaking tutorials. Some people say we have some of the best filmmaking tutorials on the internet, and that's really kind. So there's a lot to discover in our YouTube channel, but specifically, you can see some of the panels that we did live there. Oh, and then there was one more thing. We actually won Product of the Year, which was really a special thing. If you look behind me, there's actually one from last year right there, and we won that last year, and then we won again this year, and I can't believe it. It's really remarkable. It's really special. We are very, very flattered and very thankful that we won Product of the Year for Strata Agents. And that's what we're going to show you today. So what you're going to see right now is award winning, and that's really cool. And we think it's going to really change collaboration forever. We believe that. We think we could change collaboration forever, and we are really excited to take a look at it. Okay. If you have already installed the Strata agent, here's something you need to do right now. You need to update it. To update it, you can right-click on the agent, right? It's right in the top right of your computer. You right-click, and then you can say check for updates. When you check for updates, it will automatically update. You need to update your agent. Why? When you update your agent, it will now update automatically for you going forward. So you won't have to update it in the future. We'll update it for you. And that just means you'll always have the latest and greatest, and you don't have to think about it. But in order to get that, you've got to update it yourself. So go to your Strata agent, right click, choose, check for updates, or depending on the agent you have, you can see this little settings here, and you could say check for updates. But I think the right click still works. Yep, check for updates. So we need you to do that. And if you do that, then it'll be fine. We'll update it automatically from there on. So that's good. There it is. Check for updates. Okay. So here is what's going on. What has changed in the last month is Strata now has two products. We have two products. We have Strata Cloud and we have Strata Agents. These are different products. Now you can connect your account to the same, to both of these. So when you sign up for Strata, you can have both of these products. They can be swapped and interchanged as you want. So that's really cool. But they are different products. Strata Cloud is in the cloud. Makes sense, right? It's in the cloud. That's where we do AI analytics, transcriptions, searching, multicam. All of the stuff that is part of our original product is in the Strata Cloud product. That product needs to be in the cloud for all the AI enhancements that we're capable of doing. So we have to keep that product for the time being in the cloud. So it's a separate product. Then we have the new product, Strata Agents. That's not in the cloud. That's the whole point, right? The Strata Agents is actually taking place at the edge, and the edge is what we call the computer on your desk, or the hard drive on your desk, or the hard drive in a rack. That's the edge. And so Strata Agents is allowing you to collaborate at the edge, where Strata Cloud allows you to collaborate and enrich with AI in the cloud. Those are the two products, and they're a little separate. So I'm going to start with a demonstration of Strata Agents right now. I see a few more questions coming in, so I'm going to answer those questions as I get into my demonstration. So let's start with the agents demo. Well, to start with the agents demo, I'm going to switch over here to a YouTube live. Hopefully you can still see this. This is a YouTube live. If you look closely, it's 9:16 on this computer. This computer is in Culver City. This is a computer that is in a different location than I am right now. And we see it says 9:16. And if you look in the top right of my computer, it's 9:16. So this is real time. This is a YouTube live happening right now. It's just a webcam looking at a laptop. I know that's weird because it's like, why is there video of a laptop? But I'll show you why. I want to show you what happens when you access a computer remotely and you want it to be your own cloud. Here's how it works. We could see here, we've got a drive here. This is a camera card. There is the camera card right there. So if you're a DIT, this is a big breakthrough because you can actually share media directly off camera mags if you wanted to. If you want to render them, you can do that too. But the access can be great right off a camera mag. This is also really great for news, sports, and journalism. A lot of times there's no time to download things. Maybe there's no point to downloading them. I think sometimes you might not even need to download it. So you can connect a camera card and actually access it right away. That might be enough for some people. I've also got this RAID right here. This is a SanDisk, which was rebranded from G-Tech. So here it says SanDisk, here it says G-RAID, but they're the same drive. And so you can see that there. And then I've also got LucidLink. I'm a LucidLink customer. And there you can see the soft-mounted LucidLink logo. My workspace is called Strata. That is my LucidLink account. And then I've got a computer here. And if you look really closely, you can see that is the Strata icon. That means an agent is running. So Strata agents is running on this machine right here. Now what I'm going to do is slide this over a little bit. And we're going to switch to our let's see here. I got to go to Strata. So now if you look at Strata right here, notice something. It says Strata's MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro that I can see right here is the same Strata. Let me just hide this here. It's the same Strata MacBook Pro right here. So we're seeing the same directory, the same computer here. And now watch this. If I were to click on the G-RAID mirror, what's going to happen is the G-RAID is going to start blinking in about 3 seconds. See the G-RAID blinking? It's blinking because the drive is asleep and it's going to access the files on the drive. This drive takes about 15 seconds to spin up. It's an 8 terabyte G-RAID and it takes about 15 seconds. Now it's spun up and now I can browse through my files. These are not cached. These are not pre-rendered. These are not pre-uploaded or anything like that. I am now playing back this file from this drive, which is not my computer. That's what we're showing right here. And so you can see as I kind of browse around, the drive will blink based on what's happening. And what's really powerful about this, look at this. This interview here is about 20 minutes long. Because this is not in the cloud, if I skip to the end, it just skips to the end. If I go to the middle, it just goes to the middle. If I go to the beginning, it goes to the beginning. See, the drive just reacts. The drive just blinks because the drive can seek on that file and move super fast, right? The drive doesn't need much time to get to the next place. And Strata is able to just play it instantly. This file is not on my computer. It's on a hard drive. It's not in the cloud, and I can play it as if it is. Okay, a couple questions. Chris Pilarski says, does internet and hard drive speed matter? It really doesn't, Chris. It really doesn't. Here's why. The power of this experience is happening on the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro Apple Silicon is so good that it can encode files that are huge into tiny files instantly. That's what these new Apple Silicon computers are so good at. Think about this, Chris. There are so many companies that are talking about building their processing, but Apple is one of the only companies that's talking about building processing in the computer at the edge. Most people are talking about processing in the cloud, data centers, things like GPUs and a lot of the stuff that NVIDIA is doing. A lot of that value or even ATI. That stuff is in the cloud. But Apple's saying, no, 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 no. The power is still at the edge. See, a lot of people buy Apple laptops and they're really unnecessarily because they're just used to browse the internet and you don't need that power. But when you use something like Strata agents, you're now getting leverage out of the power of the Apple silicon. And so it takes a huge file. It can be a ProRes 4K file. Look, I can look at ProRes files. If I go into this, here are ProRes files. This is a directory of log ProRes files. It's uncolor corrected because this is actual log, but these files are hundreds of megabits per second. They're really big files, but I can play back ProRes even though this computer only has 11 megabits of internet. Think about that. There is no ProRes that's 11 megs per second. That doesn't exist. ProRes proxy is the smallest ProRes, and that's 40. So the smallest ProRes is already 4 times larger than this computer internet. Yet here I am playing back ProRes that's hundreds of megabits per second. And again, this is ProRes and it is log because it's camera original material. This shows you don't need extra really good internet in order for you to view the files. We actually had someone play back files from their NAS on an airplane because they were able to use Strata agents to play back on an airplane from a NAS. So that's the answer for Chris. Paul Hunenfeld says, surely there'll be a cost for agents in the future. Will it be multiple levels of subscriptions for different features? Paul, I'm going to make you wait. I will show you the pricing in a little bit. But I think you're going to be very surprised at how we're going to price this thing. It's really, really exciting. Steve Cross from YouTube. Hi, Steve. Welcome. Steve says, I sure hope AI features are coming to agents. Steve, we want to do that. We love the AI enrichments that we have in Strata Cloud. If you need the AI enrichments, you can sign up for Strata today and you can switch to your workspaces. See, if I look in the upper left here, there's my account. I'm on the agent. All of these are workspaces. If you wanted to make a new one, you see create enterprise workspace. That's free for 2 weeks. You can sign up for agents and you can create a Strata Cloud account just by clicking enterprise workspace, and you'll get a free workspace for 2 weeks and you can try the analytics. We need the cloud today to do those analytics, but we understand it's really powerful to do it on agents. So we will add AI enrichment to agents, but it's going to take time because we can't build it in the cloud, right? That's the whole point. So the first one that comes will be transcription. We will probably deliver transcription so that you can transcribe files on agents. That'll probably be the first one. When we do that, I'm not sure yet, so stay tuned, Steve. Emmanuel from YouTube. Hi, Emmanuel. You asked, can an editor open my projects and project file and edit? Will they also have to have the software editing tools I use on my computer? Emmanuel, this is like so much easier than the other solutions. The editor will be able to access your files. Yes, they will be able to do that. They will not need the same software as you have. That won't matter. Think of the files on your computer. You're just going to be able to send them or share them to your editor from your computer or from a drive that you share, meaning it could be a third drive that's just an agent, and then you could access those files and your editor at the same time. So that's what we're building. It's really, really simple. It's really robust. Now, where will the project file be? I'm not sure about that. You might want the project file local to every person. That might be the case. If you want to share it, we'll have to find out how the project file behaves with this workflow. I actually don't know the answer to that yet, but we should be able to find out in early June when we release that feature. Doug Dobbins from YouTube says, will there be an agent for TrueNAS? You know, I actually don't know TrueNAS very well. So Pete, my brother, can look up TrueNAS and he can just triple check. Is there a reason TrueNAS doesn't work? The idea, Doug, is that
Michael, we looked up the TrueNAS and we would need to run the agent on the device itself. And so that type of technology is coming where we will be able to install an agent on a dedicated PC, so long as there's a GPU and an HEVC encoder.
There you go. So there is an answer. So TrueNAS because it's running its own CPU inside and it's not mounted to a second computer, then we'd have to run it in there. So we can't do that at the moment, Doug, but that's a really good thing to ask for. And I think what Pete says means it's totally possible. We just need to talk to them. Hey, Steve, if you have a connection to the TrueNAS people, will you send it to Pete so that we could reach out to them? That would be great if we could talk to them. Okay. But for everyone else, most drives, it doesn't matter what the drives are. TrueNAS might be an exception, but most drives just work on agents automatically. Remember in my video here, my live stream, I've got a camera card. Look at this. Here is the camera card. I'm literally looking at the camera card. Now, Strata today cannot debayer raw files. We don't do raw files yet, but if you shoot on cameras like Red, here's the R3D raw file. See that? I can't see it. So there's no preview. It says unsupported file. So we can't yet see Red files, but Red cameras shoot ProRes proxies at the same time. So here's a 614 megabyte ProRes file. And I'm able to play that back right off the card. So the card is actually serving this file right here, which is crazy that I can browse through the original card and just click on it and check the work. Look, if you've ever had a shot or a sequence and you desperately need to QC something, you need to check it real quick, there is no faster way than Strata connecting a card and browsing through the QuickTime files without even having to download. It's crazy. There is no faster way to do this. It's pretty awesome. And it's really easy. So very cool. Darren Hartman on Zoom says, will it be possible to select specific folders within a drive to share via the agent instead of the entire root of the drive so that you can give specific access to individuals? Yes, yes, yes. I want to show that to you now, Darren, because that is a really great question. So Darren's talking about access. So what I've shown you today, oh, Darren, before I get that, I want to show one more style of drive. We showed here Red camera mag. So that's a camera mag. We've got the G-RAID. We went through the whole G-RAID. We could see all that, long clips, short clips. I have the desktop of the computer, and this is my Lucid Link. Remember, in my Zoom here, or my YouTube Live, you can see there is a Lucid Link account. So that is the Lucid Link. That is Lucid. So right now, I am able to look at this. Now watch how fast this goes. I'm going to load 600 takes, and you can see how fast. See, the thumbnails aren't even here. Watch how fast they come in. See how fast they're coming in? This, I'll get ahead of it. If I click on this file, it'll start playing right away. If I click on this file, it'll start playing. See how fast these thumbs come in? This is 600 takes in Lucid Link, and I'm now able to access these files this quickly in Lucid Link. I mean, this is so fast and powerful. And now I've given Lucid Link a front end that I can view, and I can see everything in my Lucid Link account. I can go right to new assets and play them back. This file is playing off Lucid Link in Strata. Very powerful addition to your workflow if you have Lucid Link. It's amazing. There's no reason. If you pay for Lucid Link today, you should install an agent immediately and start realizing the power it's going to unlock. Now, Darren was asking about sharing specific drives. So I want to show this, Darren. What I just demonstrated is what agents can do today. You can connect the drive. You can see the drive's connected. You can play it back. But that's all you can do. What is coming out very soon are some very important new features. These new features will deliver by June 6th. That's our goal, June 6th. That's only 7 weeks away, and they might come earlier. We could be ahead of schedule, wink, wink, but June 6th. Here are the new features. So Darren, specifically for you, I want to show you this simulation. Here I've got Kira's MacBook Pro. We can see the agents here, but she wants to share just one specific folder of media, not an entire RAID or an entire drive. So what she does is she invites people specifically to that directory. When you invite people, now you're able to isolate who has access to what. And you can see here, you can choose whether or not they have view access or download. It's a lot like installing or creating a Google document where you can make people have edit access or just view access. Strata works the same way. And so if you want them to have full access to edit, you can give them that option. And so what I'm going to do is now I've shared it with Austin. I'm going to switch to Austin's computer. If Kira gave Austin options to view, he now sees shared with me. And you can see in the shared with me section, it says Kira's MacBook Pro. So we know where it came from, who shared the material. And you can imagine as you have more people sharing, you'll see a large list of computers that are shared with you. Then you can see inside of that what was shared. And now if I click on the socials folder, I see what Kira shared with Austin. And so now Austin's able to see these things. Now, if Kira were to give download options, then I could click here and I could say download the contents. And now it kicks off a download so you can transfer those files locally. For a lot of people, this is going to be the easiest way to do a fast edit because you can have files in one location and you can download them. Now, the reason this is also really powerful is because 99% of file transfers, think about it, they're initiated by the sender. The sender has to put the files together, put them in a place, upload them to a cloud, and then send an invitation link. And then the receiver has to wait for that email to show up before they can get access and download. With Strata, the receiver can initiate their own downloads, and there is no upload at all, right? It's so different. So if you're given access to drives or NASs or SANs or directories, you as the receiver can just pull what you want, pull what you need when you need it. You don't have to bother anyone else, and they don't have to waste any time uploading. And so there's no worrying about the cost or the time of uploading. That's the whole point of this thing. That's why it's so disruptive. So Darren, here's how you can see inviting specific people, specific directories, and then giving them permission to either view or permission to download. And then that's what they're able to do. And you get a little download progress bar in that. So that's what that is. Now, Chris asks, what's the difference between LucidLink and Strata? Well, LucidLink is cloud only. You can only upload files to LucidLink in order to share them, right? That's what LucidLink. LucidLink has really good file caching technology. They're really exceptional at caching files, but it doesn't work until you upload that. So if you have a terabyte of footage that you want to edit remotely, you have to upload a terabyte of footage. You have to pay to store a terabyte of footage, and you have to pay that bill every 30 days. Every month, that bill of 1 terabyte, you're going to have to keep paying it. With Strata, there is no storage. There is no cloud. And so there's no storage costs, and you don't have to rent any storage. You just share the files like I just did. You just share them. You just watch them. You just play them. And if you want to download them, you download them. So Lucid and Strata are actually very different because from an architecture standpoint, Lucid is all cloud and Strata Agents is no cloud. And that's a major difference. And if downloading and internet speeds and transfer is a problem and cost, Strata Agents is going to change everything. G Goldberg from Zoom says, how many clients can work simultaneously? I know that's very dependent on bandwidth, resolution, but curious if that's the vision. G Goldberg, great question. Okay, I'm being honest with you, Mr. Goldberg or Mrs. Goldberg. I don't know what G stands for. I can tell you, we don't know. We don't know. It's so new. We're not really sure. Now, there are some things we can understand theoretically. See, if you have more people accessing the files, Strata will dynamically change the bandwidth on the files to respond to the need. So we don't think that bandwidth will be a big deal. If your bandwidth is really bad, then the files just will look worse. That's kind of how Netflix works. If your bandwidth's bad, the quality goes down, right? Or even a Zoom call, right? So we don't think bandwidth will be that big of a deal. A little, but not too bad. However, If you want more people playing back, you're going to need to have a stronger machine that runs the agent. So it's not about the machine that is receiving the files, the client. It's about the agent, the host. And so if you have an M1 or an M2, you might not get many simultaneous encodes from people hitting play. So if 4 people hit play on an M1, we actually don't know if 4 people can play that back today. We're going to know very soon, but we're not really sure today. But if you're on an M4 Mac Studio, 4 people should be really easy because that computer is a lot stronger and it can do more simultaneous processing. So the answer is it varies. And the people that invest in a stronger agent host machine will have better performance. Remember the slogan, be your own cloud, right? That's the slogan. If you're going to be your own cloud, it's going to be good to make that cloud good, to invest in a really good hardware system. But hardware is a really powerful investment because you get to keep it. It's your investment, right? So it's not renting storage like cloud. You own it, which can be really good because it's an asset. So really good question, Goldberg. Resolution. If you want the most people to play back, you should do 1080 H.265, and then you'll have the most performance. If you're going to do a lot of ProRes 4K, it's a computer. It's not going to do 5 streams of ProRes 4K. That's just not going to be possible. So you're going to have to adjust it based on that. Really great question. Geo Santillan from YouTube. Thank you for the consistency in production detail across the board. Oh, you're welcome, Geo. These are the same drives and laptops from the NAB video. Let's go consistency. Okay, I'm with you on that. Thank you, Geo. Steve Cross says, Strata agents interface hosted with Strata, or is everything hosted at the edge? Are we able to connect to the agent directly through a port, or is everything routed through Strata? Ah, very good. So it is peer-to-peer. Strata agents will look for the shortest path. So, Steve, if you are actually in the same building as someone connected to your agent, it won't even use the open internet. It'll just use the Wi-Fi network to play back peer-to-peer. So it's looking for the shortest point to access files. It doesn't have to go up to the internet and then down. Whereas today, if you're sitting next to someone and you want to use Dropbox or LucidLink or Frame.io, you have to upload it all the way to North Carolina, to be honest, and then it comes all the way back down just to get a file to go 5 feet. That's the problem with the cloud. It's not peer-to-peer, and you have to go all the way to North Carolina to get the file there in Frame.io just to move it 10 feet. We do this all the time. I do this all day long. It sucks, right? This is so much better because with Strata agents, if someone's 5 feet away, the file only goes 5 feet and they have the same access and you didn't pay for anything and it's way faster because there's no upload. So it's really, really powerful. So we manage what Strata's managing is the organization. We're managing all the air traffic control, all those communications. And so we manage through the cloud how things are connected and the permissions and the movement and the access. That's what Strata's doing. But if you can move the file without going through the internet, Strata will do that. If you use the internet to move the file, it will try to find the shortest distance. That's what it'll do. Cash asks, is there any type of encryption built in to enhance file privacy and secure data transfer? Great question, Cash. The answer is today we are end-to-end encrypted. We'd use 128-bit encryption, and we're end-to-end encryption. Plus, we use the industry standard OAuth login technology, which is very normal. A lot of companies use that. And we will be probably adding 2-factor authentication, 2FA, later this year. But I'll tell you, there is always more security work to be done, always. So we will always be increasing and improving our security credentials. Today, Strata is not TPN certified. We're too new to go through certification. But my team and I have built TPN certified businesses before. So we know what has to be done, and we're building that in mind. So Strata Agents is built with security in mind. We're not ignoring it. We just will be adding more and more features as we grow. So if you require more security, tell us what you want, because security means different things to different people. So for you, if there's a specific security requirement, let us know so that we can put that in. Boris Films asks, be your own cloud. Very important for non-USA users. Oh, that's a really great compliment. Thank you. Because we want to make it affordable for everyone, which is really, really great. Now, I want to show you something else that we're going to be adding. This is also on one of our goals for this summer, and that is commenting. Now, commenting is really important to us because we want you to be able to give feedback. And imagine this: if you're an editor and you need feedback, you can send that file to the director. If you're audio and you did music mixes and the composer, send it to the director. If you're doing graphics or titles or animation, send it to the director. Now, you're going to do this all the time. And if you're using a cloud product, you have to upload it and store it every single version. With Strata Agents, there's no upload. And here's my vision. Here's my vision. When you're trying to get feedback, we're going to allow you to type in the feedback right in Strata Agents. And we believe that if you have all those departments, editing, color, sound, composer, effects, all those departments, if we are able to save enough time through Strata Agents that you can get one more round of notes and feedback across those 5 departments, that's 5 rounds of notes if each department just does one, by saving time. That's a better project, right? I mean, think about it. The time you spend uploading and waiting for those links to appear, it takes time and it adds up. If we can remove that just so there's one more review time, just one more, minute to review, it's a better project. And that's what we're after. So commenting's coming. But there's another element of commenting that I think nobody has solved, and that is what we call messaging. See, comments are what you do to make a comment on the asset, but communication is different. So what we are building is what we sometimes nickname Slack Lite. And what that means is you're able to message each other inside Strata. Because my guess today is if you use Frame.io or you use Dropbox or you use Google Drive, you also have to use Slack or WhatsApp or GChat or some sort of text message, because or email, which is the worst. And that's how you have to communicate. See, Frame.io solved the problem with giving notes on the asset, but nobody solved the problem with communicating with your team outside of the asset. And I don't think it makes sense, because my team and I, we have to Slack each other all the time, links to get notes on assets. Think about that. You must do the same thing, right? You use Slack to say, hey, check this link out. I left some notes. And then you go to the link and then you can see the notes. Why are we doing it twice? So what we are doing is putting the messaging app inside Strata so you can have conversations and messages, and those are separate from commenting. But our messaging app is also time code aware, because Slack doesn't know where the assets are. GChat doesn't know where the assets are. WhatsApp doesn't know where the assets are, but Strata does. So you can make comments in Strata's messaging app and it knows where the files are. So it's really good. So you can paste links directly and paste time codes directly. So that's really, really cool. Steve Cross asks, so if Strata goes down, we can't connect to our agents, or if we set up a crazy lockdown network, we need to have open access to a Strata website. The Strata site is really just Chrome. So, Strata should be fine. Our uptime is well over 99.99%. So I'm not too worried about that, Steve. If you set up a crazy lockdown network, you'd have to open access to a Strata website. I mean, that's just Chrome. So you need to have access to the internet to see these files, because that's the player. So if you said it was really important that you wanted to have a native application, maybe in the future we could build a native application so you could be offline. But see, the thing is, we know Strata isn't for everyone. That may be. But for many, the trade-off of eliminating cloud storage is totally worth it. Totally worth it. Plus, Steve, if you wanted my personal opinion, the idea that there will be air gaps and lockdown systems for media and entertainment in the future, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe there'll be a future. I think in the 2030s, everything will be online. Everyone will be online. Better security is and best practices is the best way to mitigate that, not air gaps, which I think is a bit of an antiquated way to manage security. That's my opinion. But ultimately, we are a safer way, because think about this, Steve. We do not actually move the file in order for you to see it. See, when you want to see a file on Pix or DAX or WireDrive or Media Silo or LucidLink or Frame.io or Iconic, you have to make a copy of a file and give it to people. With Strata, you don't. The file lives on a hard drive, and we're only sending a picture of the pixels per frame, and then it's gone. To use a big word, it's ephemeral, meaning these are not actual assets that exist. The actual assets on a hard drive, we're just projecting a frame and then it's gone. There is no file transfer. So it's actually more secure because there's no access to file if you give people just view only. If they can just have view only, they can't see the file, and no file was uploaded. So there's fewer copies of it. There might be no copies of the file. The safest place to put a file is on a hard drive protected by a hard line that you can control. That's Strata. So it's actually, in many ways, more secure than any cloud connection. Chris Pilarski says, I'm using Frame.io as a content hub for all my final deliverables and assets for my clients. Could Strata replace Frame.io? Well, if you're using Frame.io as a content hub, you're paying the highest price for cloud storage, because Frame.io is one of the most expensive storage platforms out there. It's a beautiful platform for play and final deliverables. But yes, Strata would eliminate all of that cost. Plus, Strata would allow you to put the ProRes 4K XQ, and you could share that. Where Frame.io can't actually play ProRes 4K XQ. It can't actually do that, but Strata can. And you could actually see the original files if you wanted to. Plus, Frame.io doesn't support RAW files. Strata someday will, because we can leverage your computer to play back a RAW file. So there's a lot of value that we'll be doing. Today, I would not say Strata replaces Frame.io. That's not true today, but it might be someday soon. So that's up to you, depending on how you use it. But Chris, the more you use Strata agents, you tell me what you need, and I build it. It's very simple. I used to work at Frame.io, so I love that brand. I love that company, and I love the technology they have. But I also know the technology intimately, and I know what the product can and can't do. And so part of the reason we're here at Strata is to build something different. Cool. Paul says, I can't wait for sharing and downloading. So the timeline to this. Well, the timeline, let's talk about timelines and costs here. We're gonna do that. So timelines and costs. Well, we're gonna look at Strata agents costs here. So we are delivering, I think I mentioned to you, Paul, we are going to be delivering the invites and the downloading by June 6th. It might come earlier. And if you stick with us, Paul, and you reach out to us a lot, we will be we'll be asking for early adopters to try the sharing the invites and the downloading early. So let us know if you want to be a super early tester of that. So that's when it's coming. Then the other features should come in June and July, like messaging and commenting. Now, the pricing here is very tentative. In fact, I think I'm going to do this. This is, I'm going to say Strata agents. We're going to say tentative. Okay. This is tentative pricing. We're not 100% sure about this pricing. So I just want to be very clear. This is tentative, and I'm taking a risk by sharing this with you all. So what you can see here that's really cool is that I can't remember who asked it earlier what the price was. I lost the name here, but someone asked about the price, and I told you I think you'd be very happy. And if you look at the free tier, we call that the individual tier. If you are just an individual and you're only working mainly with yourself, a team of one, we will allow you to have an agent. You can review, you can even allow commenting on that, and you can generate public links. So you could do a link to a directory or a folder and share that, but the link would be public. So you just say generate link, you could share that with someone and they could pull it down. That's all going to be free. Agents, playback, commenting, and link sharing will be free. Then we go to the individual plus plan. That's going to cost you $1 per day. Tentative pricing, $1 per day, $30 a month. And what it gives you is private sharing. That's when I showed the ability to actually invite specific people. So if you're inviting specific people, like this here, this would be the private sharing, because now I'm controlling who has it, not a public link, but a private link. So that's the difference in being able to go to the $30 per month. And then you would get notifications and app mentions. So you could send a message directly to a person. So Paul, I think it was Paul that you asked about the pricing. This is the answer. So that's the difference between individual and individual plus. You can share for free, but if you want it to be specific invites to specific people, you're going to pay for that control. And then you're going to get with that notifications and things like that. So people get an email notification and stuff like that. So that's the difference. And then if you have a larger team, you can buy agents in bulk, because here's the thing. I want to show you this slide right here, and I want you to see the vision. This picture is the vision. This is what's coming in the summer, only a few months away. You can see on the left, we have our connections. So we can see our connections. These are all the agents that we've connected. But then you can see multiple agents shared with you. And inside of those agents are multiple directories. Here are 2 folders, and here's a drive. So an entire Lacey drive was shared with me, and then 2 specific folders were shared with me from Austin's MacBook Pro. I also have access to a facility SAN. In other words, the agents are everywhere. See, today, you believe that you have to move everything to one cloud in order to share it. We're going to upset that. We're ending that process, that rule. We're saying you can have files anywhere and share them interoperably. You can share them interconnected. And so everyone has an agent. So what that means in the pricing is that if we go back to the pricing here, you could buy 6 agents in bulk, or 13 agents in bulk, or 20 agents in bulk. And then you have agents across your team, and everybody's sharing back with each other. So you can have a big NAS as a main space to store things, but everybody else has files on their local computer and on USB drives and on a drive on their desk. All those are in play now. And you don't have to move it all to the NAS if you don't want to. But if you do, you can just move it directly to the NAS from your machine. And it's amazing. Everybody can push to the NAS wherever they are, or pull from it, or they can push and pull from each other. So it's really, really different. The other things is you'll be able to have private messages and metadata creation, permissions, and automations, and then we'll be adding the AI analysis in the team. So if you want transcription, eventually facial recognition and things like that, those are going to be on the team plan that starts at $150 per month. But you can get a lot of usage out of that. So these are all things that are coming through that. One last question from Steve. He says he'd love to create custom branding and parent URLs. I love it. That's a really good request. I want to make sure we capture that request. So that's a really specific sharing experience I think you're talking about. And if you shared with us how you do it today and what that looks like, that would give our designer exactly the instructions that you would need. So I would love for you to share an example, you could always send us an email. Speaking of emails, we want you to reach out to us. All of us are available. And we really want to connect with everyone here. So we have a Discord channel. So if I go to the Strata website here, you can see there's a support button, and I have agent support. And there's a whole bunch of tutorials in here that allow you to check out agents access and learning how to do it. There's tutorials, there's setup guides. It's all here. Plus, we have a Discord channel. My brother will put a link in here to sign up for Discord. All of you should sign up for agents today. Look, it's early. I know it's early. We're a new company, but we are coming fast, and we are so pumped. And we're building something that everyone's going to want, and it's just starting to come out. We've had 500 people install agents since April 4th. So thank you. We're so excited that everybody has started to install it. If you haven't done it, do it today. Join the Discord. Give us feedback. Tell us the things that have been shared with us today so that we can build those, and then we'll give you updates. Every time there's an update, we put it in our Discord channel. And so if I click that, you can see the Discord here. And now we're able to, here it is. And now I'm in the Discord, and I can communicate with all of you. So we would love to communicate with everybody. So whenever there's questions, we want people to post their questions in here, and then we can answer and share all our responses. So it's really important that we do that. So we are really, really excited about everything that's happening here. There's my email. I think I have the emails of my colleagues here. I do not. That's my bad. But all of us, this is really easy because it's my first name at strata.tech. And that would be the same for everybody else. We could do Peter, we could do Margot, and we could do Austin. So all of us are here, and we're happy to help make ourselves available to you. Transparency and communication is critical to us. We need you to sign up and try it. We need you to tell a friend, and we need you to give us feedback. So if you liked this session and it's valuable to you and your team, you can do a couple of things. One, you can send them to come back next week. You can sign up online. Again, we have a website where you can find us and get to these sessions. See, there's a button that says onboarding sessions, and you can sign up for next week, which is April 29th, which is Pete's birthday. We should do something. And then the other thing you could do is you could request a private demo. If you want a private demo for your team and you want to dive, some of you asked really deep questions. If you want a private demo and you need a deep dive, reach out to us, and we will set up a private demo with you, and we can discuss your specific workflow more specifically. We would love to do that as well. So with that, I want to thank you for a great day of Strata Live. Welcome to Strata Agents. We're excited to have you install the app. Make sure you do the update. Remember the update slide. Where was that? It was right here. Make sure you update your Strata agent so that it can automatically update in the future. Please send us your questions. We are so glad to have you join us today. I wish you all a wonderful week. I'll talk to you later, everybody. See you on Discord.